Well, I don't know what that big yellow thing in the sky is, but I've not seen that one for a while. Right, back down, come to finish off. Gonna get rid of this, gonna install that. Everything's gonna be good. Just taking a quick look underneath now. Got all the boarding up. Something obviously enjoyed some runner beans. Right, they've all been dragged under there, put in a little pile for munching on. Got quite a lot of chunky spiders as well. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if you can make him out. Will you focus? I doubt it. So that's probably big for the UK. What's that? Fingertip. Well, it is for these parts anyway. So, there's a bit of a hole there. Don't know what that is. Probably a rat. There's a rat under me shed, what am I gonna do? There's a rat under me shed, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna fix that rat is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fix that rat. Sorry. Goodbye, Mr. Shack. You were the shackiest of shacks, but after my attack you won't be back. Right, it's all gone. It's quite a big area, as you can see. There's lots of things been enjoying living under there. A big pile of runner beans there that's been dragged under. Got remnants of something feathered and dead. And we have a hill. So yes. Other than that, a few sheets of glass. I actually snuck those under there out of the way. A load of old tools that somebody's obviously stashed under here for safekeeping. They've all rusted. Right, so that is the shed base now in its final position, in its resting place. Tried as best I can to line it up with the two greenhouses there. So that's that. I've kind of been round with the spirit level that I found underneath, so that was a lucky find. Been round and supported all the four corners and an extra two on each edge, and then every beam in the middle as well. With bricks, so that's all raised off the ground now, preventing the damp, hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, so next stage I guess. Don't know what the next stage is at this point, but we'll have a go. Well, that's the 3 frames assembled. I wonder what to do next now. Probably do with some sides and a roof and a floor and walls, couldn't it? I'll give it a go, see what happens. Aside from all the wind, it's been a lovely day today. It's been really warm. I've managed to crack on with this for a few hours. So I've got my front frame, got the back frame, and then I've tied all that in as well. So I've got some extra bits going on. It's all sitting a little bit wonky. However, only slightly, so what I can do is pull it in when I decide to put the cladding on. Hello to all you happy horticulturalists out there. Come to sit down, first time in the day. I'm not a massive fan of broad beans. I don't know many people that are actually, but I quite enjoy the plant. It's quite a, I'd say spectacular, but it's certainly, you know, it's a nice thing to grow. And you know, I don't mind a portion or two of the beans. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick just 5 plants in this year. I think that'll be way more than enough, and I fully anticipate chucking them away, or giving them away, or doing something with them. I know, sacrilege to some of you, but you know, broad beans, isn't it? Same ones as last year actually, the broad bean aqua dulce, aqua dulce, one of the, I don't know. So I'm outdoors from October last year all the way through to February this year, so it's just the end of January at the minute. So I'm sure these seeds will still be okay. Oh, yeah. I don't think I saved any from, did I save any from last year? No, I remember what happened is I tried to save some from last year and they all got munched on by various rodents or whichever. You got me thinking now. No, I've got a humongous amount of broad beans, but no. Anyway, they're here, aren't they? So I'm just going to use one of these pots here, get them well on the way. It's a broad bean, isn't it? You don't have to be too cute with them, I don't think. You can remember, is it eye up or eye down? Or is it eye on the side? I wonder if Mr. Fothergill knows. Let's have a look. Mr. Fothergill, what do you say? Where they are to crop. So don't put them into pots, he's saying. It's fair enough. I want to put them in pots because then I have full control over them. I didn't have any problem doing that last year as well. So if I can put them in pots, get them going, and then whack them outside once they're ready. Might slow them down a bit, but it's just the way I find easier. Plus I've not actually decided where everything's going yet, in which bed. So yeah, that's the way it's going. Zigzag pattern, leaving a space of 2 foot between each row, 9 inches between plants. Do not sow in very cold weather or when soil is waterlogged. Sowings benefit from cloche protection in the early stages of growth by growing in exposed locations. And that's another thing as well in here. They'll be nice and well protected. I'm not very good at this. Right, bean. I can't remember. Top, bottom, side. I used to know that. Oh well. Shall I put 2 in each pot and pull out the weakest one? No. I'm just going to put one in. How deep? How deep? Oh, 2 inches deep. That's fairly deep. Right, we'll pop you in there. Give you a little press it down. Beautiful. Each one of these seeds contains information and energy to create a plant which then in itself can reproduce hundreds of times. This one seed has all the information packed inside it to make hundreds and hundreds of plants. Not bad, eh? Broad bean aqua dulce. Or aqua dulce. I can sow up until 2019, so technically another year out of that bag. As long as I keep them safe and dry. As you might be able to tell, it's getting a bit dark now. It's been windy all day as well, which has not really helped things. I've been really wanting to crack on, so I've sort of put the camera to one side, so it's going to be, you know, kind of just a short overview really of everything I've achieved. You've probably seen that the shack has now got its full framework in place. So obviously the base and the 2 sides I made yesterday, and then I've put the framework in on the 2 sides. The door, which I'm sure you know you'll all disagree with, is going on this far side. Right around here, it's going there, and then the roof obviously with its slopes as well. I've just got to put in another line here I think, because I'm going to have windows across the whole front and possibly the sides, just because I realised halfway through the build that with the sunlight filtering in this way, it's going to put quite a bit of shadow onto the conservatories, so I just thought if I could window the front it'd probably limit any sort of shade. So yeah, that's that. I've just got to get a load more timber now. I need some sort of flooring and obviously whatever to clad it in. I could use all of this glass in these windows here, but I've decided not to. Just because I can. Right, second greenhouse. I'm going to put all the glass back on that this year, so that it's actually usable as a full greenhouse. I did it just with my tomatoes last year, straight in the ground. which was an experiment. It did work. The tomatoes grew well until they got blight. So I'm thinking if it's fully enclosed and disinfectanted, then we should avoid the blight. It'll just mean a lot more watering. In here we have just planted up some broad beans, the old aqua dolce. I've not got around to putting in my garlic yet, as in me shop bought garlic. It's just I've run out of time. I'm shattered as well. Hopefully you can hear me above all the wind noise. General bit of a tidy up as well. So looking back, most of the timber and everything like that from the previous shack has been removed. So not looking too shoddy. Got this ton bag here that was like just couch grass that I started accumulating last year, so hopefully if I can skim the top it might be compost underneath, but I doubt it. I've got my cherry tree, which again, I went into the shop to try and find one of them plastic spiral bands for the bottom of a tree to protect the other two, but instead came out with 2 new trees and nothing in the way of protection. So they're in at the minute. That's a cherry which I got from Tesco's, and that is a conference pear which came from also Tesco, 2 for £10. That's the label, if it will focus on there. I'm doubting that it will. So that's the conference pear, and then here's the cherry. Whether that'll come out on the video or not, I don't know. But just in case any of you want to read through that. And that's it, really. So, been down here, done a full day. Dropped a bit of mulch around these ones as well. Figured, you know, it can't help. Even though 99% sure this one is deed. D-E-D. So, looking back, now got a new tree. If this one is dead, what I've done is I've spaced those other two quite far apart and further apart, so a new tree would go around about here, which would give me equal spacing, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, you know, I will give it a chance. If it doesn't bud or grow, then it's out of here. So then, just to sum up, next big job is clean out the greenhouse, because there's going to be a lot of seedlings going on in there in the next, what, 3 or 4 weeks, I should imagine. Get the glass onto this greenhouse, because it's a little bit pointless at the minute. I've got the glass back at the other house. Get some cladding for this little beastie here, and some windows. Clean the rest of these beds out, so we've got the leeks and the sprouts left in these two. This whole area here, I don't know, I might just let this whole area run to grass, put a little fence around it, a few chairs, whatever, do you know what I mean, a little social area, because I've had a dig in the soil. It's not very good at all. It's a lot of scrap in here, been put in previous eras. Clean around the pond. From there I want to extend that bed just a little bit down there, and then this entire back fence needs completely replacing because it is falling over. So I'm going to have a word with the chap next door and see if he wants to give me a hand. Don't know, just something in there fairly secure, and yeah, so just a few little jobs. And then obviously, like, you know, grow fruit and veg and all that stuff. Right, anyway, see you later, because I'm tired and I've had enough of you. I'm sure you've had enough of me this weekend as well. 2 videos? What are you? Lucky? No. I don't know, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. No, I'm not, I'm going to food. No, I can't think with my brain and words cannot come out of my mouth. Anyway, once again, thank you all very much for joining me. It's been quite a productive day and I'm shattered, so food and rest and sleep and work tomorrow. Woohoo! See you later, bye. Oh, dirty great mess this patch of comfrey's made. And look, right in my path as well. So I'm going to have to get rid of that. This stuff is actually, I didn't think it started yet, but it started to grow back, look. Shooting up all over. It's good stuff because it makes tea, but it's bad stuff because it's in the way of my path. Right. Comfrey tea, that is. It doesn't make tea. It doesn't, like, you know, shout upstairs, do you want a brew? Put in the kettle on. No. You put it in water and it makes like a comfrey. You know this stuff anyway, don't you? Don't need me to tell you.